freedom and even in the name of entertainment. Even the founder of religion are no longer, founders of religion are no longer spared mockery and contempt. Even though their religion causes anguish and pain to millions of their followers around the world. On the other hand, the Holy Quran goes as far as saying that Muslims should not even speak ill of the idols of others because it will cause them distress. And in turn, they may speak ill of God Almighty. And consequently, the peace and unity of society, standards of living, and to ensure that they were not deprived of their dignity. He said that whilst most people afforded a high status to those who were wealthy and powerful, a poor person who was moral and considerate had far greater value than a rich person who cared not for the feelings of others and merely lived off his name. Even in small matters, the Holy Prophet of Islam paid great attention to ensuring that the feelings of underprivileged people were protected. For example, he instructed Muslims to always invite to the poor and needy to their dinner parties or social gatherings. If less affluent people were exploited by the rich or powerful, the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, instructed his followers to help the weaker party attain justice. The Holy Prophet always sought to eliminate slavery. In this regard, to his own followers, the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, repeatedly advocated the freeing of slaves and instructed that if it was not immediately possible for them to release them, then the very minimum is to feed and clothe them in the same way they fed and clothed themselves. Another issue often raised is of women's rights. And it is often alleged that Islam denies women's rights. Nothing could be further from the truth. Rather, Islam established the rights of women and girls for the first time, at a time when women and girls were discriminated against and often looked down upon. The Prophet of Islam instructed his followers to ensure that girls were educated and respected. Indeed, he said that if a person had 3 daughters who they educated and guided in the best way, they would be sure to enter paradise. It is contrary to the extremists' claim that the violent jihad and the slaughter of non-Muslims will take a person to heaven. Yet, the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, taught that the way to enter heaven was by educating and instilling moral values within girls. Based upon the teachings, Ahmadi Muslim girls across the world are educated and are excelling in various fields. They are becoming doctors, teachers, architects, and entering other professions through which they can serve humanity. We ensure that girls are given equal access to education as voice. Hence, the literacy rate of Ahmadi Muslim girls in the developing world is at least 99%. Besides education, Islam was the religion that first gave women the right to inheritance, the right to divorce, and many other human rights. Furthermore, the Holy Prophet, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, emphasized the rights of one's neighbors and said that Allah Almighty had placed such great emphasis upon their rights that he came to think that neighbors would be classed amongst a person's rightful heirs. Thus, the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, established universal human rights that were due to each individual, irrespective of their beliefs, social status, or ethnicity. I have just spoken about how the Holy Prophet of Islam, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, focused a great deal on the importance of education. This was reflected in the aftermath of first battle in the history of Islam. Despite being extremely ill-equipped, Muslims were able to defeat the much stronger Meccan army with the help of Allah the Almighty. Thereafter, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, offered to release those prisoners of war who were literate on condition they first taught illiterate members of society how to read and write. In this way, many centuries ago, the Prophet of Islam, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, established a very successful model for the rehabilitation and reintegration into society of prisoners, which benefited society at large. It is often alleged that Islam is a religion of violence or warfare. But the truth is that, and is stated in the Holy Quran, that permission to fight back was granted to establish and preserve the principle of freedom of belief and freedom of conscience for all mankind. The Quran states that if the Muslims did not defend themselves then against the Meccan army, then no church, synagogue, temple, mosque, or any other place of worship would be safe, because the opponents were determined to eliminate all forms of religion. In reality, if the early Muslims engaged in warfare, it was always defensive and fought for the sake of establishing long-term peace and to protect the right of all people to live with freedom. If today there are Muslims who have adopted extremist tactics or who preach violence, it is because they have abandoned Islam's teachings or are wholly ignorant of it. Where individuals or groups conduct terrorism, it is to gain power or to enrich themselves. Similarly, where countries adopt unjust and extreme policies, their goals are invariably linked to gaining geopolitical benefit and asserting their dominance over others. Their conduct has nothing to do with Islam. Islam prohibits Muslims for aggression. And so, Prophet of Islam, peace be upon him, and his four rightly guided caliphs, never sought war or violence, and at all times sought peace and reconciliation, and made countless sacrifices its cause. Another allegation leveled against Islam by certain critics is that it is a backward and archaic religion, or one that does not promote intellectual advancement. This is a lazy stereotype that is based on fiction rather than fact. It is a baseless allegation. The Holy Quran itself has signified the importance of education by teaching the prayer, "O my Lord, increase me in knowledge." Where this prayer is a source of great help to Muslims, it also inspires them towards learning and advancing the cause of human knowledge. The truth is that the Holy Quran and the teachings of the Holy Prophet of Islam, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, inspired the works of generations of Muslims, intellectuals, philosophers, and inventors in the Middle Ages. Indeed, if we look back more than a millennium, we see how Muslim scientists and inventors played a fundamental role in advancing knowledge and developing technologies which transformed the world and remain in use today. For example, the first ever camera was developed by Ibn Haytham, and his revolutionary work was recognized by UNESCO when he was declared as pioneer of modern optics. It is also interesting to note that the word camera is derived from the Arabic word kamara. In the 12th century, a Muslim cartographer produced most extensive and accurate world map of the medieval times, which was used for centuries by travelers. Furthermore, in the field of medicine, many Muslim physicians and scientists made great discoveries and pioneered many inventions that remain in use today. Many of the surgical instruments were pioneered by Muslim physicians. Muslim physician Al-Zahrawi in the 10th century. In the 17th century, an English physician, William Harvey, famously carried out what was considered as groundbreaking research regarding blood circulation and the functioning of the heart. However, it was later discovered that more than 400 years before Harvey's research, Ibn Nafis, an Arab physician, had already detailed the basic of pulmonary circulation in an Arabic textbook. In the 9th century, Jabir ibn Hayyan brought about revolution in the field of chemistry. He invented many of the basic processes and apparatus still in use today. The principle of algebra was first developed by a Muslim, as was much of the theory of trigonometry. In the modern world, algorithms are the basis of modern computing technology, and they too were first developed by Muslims. The contribution of Muslims to intellectual enlightenment is still recognized. For example, a New York Times article published by their science reporter, Dennis Overby, mentions the role of Muslim polymath Al-Tusi. The author states, Al-Tusi published many great works on astronomy, ethics, mathematics, and philosophy, marketing him as one of the great intellectuals of his age, marking him as one of the great intellectuals of his age. He states Muslims created a society that in the Middle Ages was the scientific center of the world. The Arabic language was synonymous which learning, with learning and science for 500 years. A golden age that can among its credits for the precursors to modern universities. Hence, from the outset, Islam emphasized the, the immense value of learning and pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. Since it was founded in 1889, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community has always promoted education amongst its members. With the grace of Allah, the very first Muslim Nobel laureate was an Ahmadi Muslim, Professor Dr. Abdul Salam, an eminent physicist who was the Nobel Prize, who won the Nobel Prize for physics in 1979. Throughout his life, Professor Salam spoke of how Islam and the Holy Quran, in particular, was the inspiration and guiding light behind his work. In fact, he used to say that there were around 750 verses in the Holy Quran directly related to science and which enhanced our understanding of nature and the universe. Furthermore, the third caliph of our community desired for a new dawn of great Muslim scientists and academics to emerge. And so, within our community, he started a tradition of awarding gold medals for academic excellence. Each year, hundreds of Ahmadi Muslim boys and girls are awarded gold medals. Certainly, we believe that access to education is key to breaking the cycle of poverty that has plagued economically weak countries for generations. We learn this from the Holy Prophet of Islam, peace and blessing of Allah be upon him, who urged Muslims to fund the education of vulnerable members of society, such as orphans. He taught that spiritual advancement was intrinsically linked to serving humanity. And so, a Muslim could not attain the love of God Almighty just through worship and prayer. Rather, the love of God Almighty required Muslims to serve humanity. Thus, chapter 90, verse 15 to 17, the Holy Quran, Muslims are instructed to eradicate hunger and poverty, to fulfill the needs of orphans, and to educate vulnerable and poor children so that opportunities open up for them to develop. In all parts of the world, the Ahmadiyya Muslim community acts upon these noble teachings to the best of our abilities. We believe that Islam is a religion of love and compassion. And so we serve humanity without making any distinction based on the religion or ethnicity of those who we have. Therefore, in remote and poverty-stricken parts of Africa, we have established primary and secondary schools, and we have also opened hospitals and clinics. We are providing clean running water in remote villages, which means the children are free to go to school instead of spending their days traveling for miles seeking to collect pond water for their domestic family use. We have also set up a project of building border villages, which include community halls, access to clean water, solar energy, infrastructure, and various other facilities. All of these services are provided to the local people. irrespective of their background or beliefs, and are motivated entirely by our religion, where out of human sympathy we seek to eradicate poverty and destitution. We also consider it to be the key to developing sustainable peace in the world. Only if people have food to eat, water to drink, shelter, schooling for their children, and healthcare will they be able to live in peace and escape the deadly clutches of frustration and resentment that lead people towards extremism. These are all basic human rights, and so until we help people flee poverty and destitution, we will not see true peace in the world. At the end, I pray with all my heart that mankind forsakes greed and forgoes the pursuit of narrow self-interest and instead focuses on relieving the pain and anguish of those who are suffering in the world. With these words, I would like to once again thank you for joining us here this evening. Thank you very much.
Nous avons pour habitude au sein de la communauté musulmane ahmadiyya, de clôturer nos événements avec une prière silencieuse. Alors, nous levons les mains en direction de notre visage, mais chacun peut prier dans le sens où il le souhaite. We end our events with a silent prayer. We raise our hands and others may join us as they wish. I would like to humbly request Huzur to kindly lead us in the silent prayer.
Silent prayer.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh and welcome to today's class. I hope you're all doing well, inshallah. As you know, we have just listened to beloved Hazur's keynote address, which was in France at UNESCO. And because it was our class was at the same time as Hazur's address, we have played it live for you today, and I hope you all joined in the silent prayer at the end. We will now carry on our class as normal. Discipline in charge, can you please have a student on the line for the prayer?
Assalamu alaikum. Our first student is 85307.
Assalamu alaikum, 85307.
Wa alaikum salam.
How are you today?
I'm good.
Alhamdulillah. Did you listen to Hazur's address?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, excellent. Okay, I'm going to ask you to help me read this prayer from the Holy Quran. So please repeat after me. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
ربي زدني
ربي زدني
علما.
علما.
Well done, excellent. And can you please read the translation for me now?
O my Lord, increase me in knowledge.
And this is from the Holy Quran, Surah Taha, verse 115. Okay, excellent. Well done. Jazakumullah for your help. So we will now start our class today. As you know, in yesterday's class, you learnt about vertical fatha, and in today's class, we will now learn about vertical kasra. Okay, so please pay attention whilst I read this paragraph, and then we will carry on with the exercises. When the stroke of kasra is vertically placed below a letter, it is called vertical kasra. A letter bearing a vertical kasra or a letter that has a vertical kasra on it should be stretched for approximately 2 seconds or 2 counts. Okay, so the rule of vertical kasra is very much similar to the rule of vertical fatha, which you learnt yesterday. Okay, and the key point to remember is about your timing. Okay, so any letter that has a vertical kasra underneath it should be pronounced or stretched for around 2 seconds or 2 counts. Okay, and that is the point that we are going to keep in our minds when we do our exercises today. Okay, so we will begin with exercise 9.1, in which at the beginning you can see that it demonstrates the vertical kasra and what it looks like. Okay, so starting from the beginning, you can see that this is a simple letter of alif. Okay, this is a simple letter alif, and next to it you have an alif with a kasra underneath it. You can see that the slanted stroke below the letter is a kasra. So alif with a kasra, you would pronounce this as E. E. Okay, just for 1 second, 1 count, not longer than that. Okay, moving on, again, this is alif with a kasra, E. E. Okay, now in the highlighted section over here, you can see that this is an alif with a vertical kasra underneath it. Okay, this is a vertical kasra. You can see that basically the kasra has been stood upright and it's a straight line below the letter called the vertical kasra. And vertical kasra, as I just read out, should be pronounced or stretched for 2 seconds. So I would now pronounce this as E, E. Okay, longer than that, I stretched the simple kasra. Vertical kasra is 2 seconds. Okay, again, you can see over here, alif with a vertical kasra underneath it, E. And then you have a simple alif with a kasra, E. Okay, so that's an example of how to pronounce letter with a vertical kasra underneath it. Okay, and how it compares to a letter with a simple kasra underneath it. So we will now do exercise 9.1. I will lead and the student on the mic will please follow me. Okay, so can you please have a student on the mic?
Yes, N6346.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Is that N6346?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So we will be doing the next 2 examples with you. So I will read, please follow after me. This is a B.
B E
Just a simple B.
B
Well done. Excellent. Okay. Now over here you have the same letter but with a vertical kasra underneath it. So we stretch this for 2 seconds. We say B.
B
Excellent. Well done. Okay. Now the next letter. Now this is the letter Ta, but it has a vertical kasra underneath it. So we stretch the letter out for 2 seconds. We say T.
T
Excellent. Well done. Now you have the same letter, but now with a simple kasra underneath it. So 1 second rule applies here. We say T.
T
Well done. Excellent. And then again over here you have the letter Sa, Fa, but you have a vertical kasra underneath it now. So again 2 second rule applies here. We say C.
C
Well done. Just try and touch your tongue to your top teeth when you say this letter, okay? C.
T
Much better, okay? Now the same letter, but with a kasra underneath it. 1 second rule applies here. C.
C
Well done. Excellent. One more time. C.
C
Well done. Excellent. Jazakumullah for your help. Can we have another student on the line?
Yes, A5345.
Assalamu alaikum. 85345.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum Assalam. Okay, I'm going to say these letters and please repeat after me. This is the letter Jim and it has a vertical kasra underneath it. Okay, so the 2-second rule applies here. We say G.
G.
Well done, excellent. Now the same letter but with a simple kasra underneath it. 1-second rule applies here. G.
G.
Well done. Now the next letter is H and it has a kasra underneath it. So we say he.
He.
Yes, he.
He.
Yes. Now the same letter but now with a vertical kasra underneath it. He.
He.
Very good, mashallah. Really nicely read, okay? Now the next letter is a kha and it has a kasra underneath it. So we pronounce this as khi.
He.
Yes, khi.
He.
Yes. Now the same letter, but now it has a vertical kasra. So we now stretch the sound out for 2 seconds. We say khi.
He.
One more time.
He.
Excellent. Well done. Really nicely read. Can we have another student, please?
Yes, N6339.
Assalamu alaikum. N6339.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Is that N6339?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So please repeat after me. This is a dal and it has a kasra underneath it. So we say this as D.
Z.
This is a dal, so a D.
Pardon?
So you say this as D.
D.
Yes, excellent. Okay. Now the same letter with a vertical kasra underneath it, you stretch that sound out for 2 seconds. D.
D.
Excellent. Well done. Really good. Okay. Now the next letter is a zal and it has a kasra underneath it over here. So
Z.
1 second. Just repeat after me. Z.
Z.
Yes, just 1 second. Okay. Z.
Z.
Now the same letter with a vertical kasra. V.
Z.
Excellent. Well done. Now the next letter is a ra and it has a kasra underneath it. So ri.
Z.
Yes. Same letter with a vertical kasra now. 2-second rule.
Z.
Yes. Ri.
Z.
Excellent. Well done. Just remember to hold that sound for 2 seconds. Okay. Well done. Excellent. Can we have another student, please?
Yes, A5345.
Assalamu alaikum. A5345.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay, so the next letter is a za and it has a vertical kasra this time. So we stretch this sound out for 2 seconds. We say Z.
Z.
Well done. Now the same letter with the kasra, Z.
Z.
Yes, well done. Excellent. Now the next letter is a sin and it has a kasra underneath it. So we say C.
C.
Excellent. Now the same letter with a vertical kasra, we say C.
C.
Well done. Excellent. Really good, mashallah. Okay. Next letter, sheen with a kasra, she.
She.
Yes, excellent. Now the next letter, again, same letter with a vertical kasra now. She.
She.
Perfect. Excellent. Really nicely read. Okay. Jazakumullah for your help. Can we have another student, please?
Yes, N6324. No. N6351.
N6351. Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam. Is that N6351? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, just come a bit closer to your mic so I can hear you a bit better.
Okay.
So the next letter, this is a sod. Remember that these are both thick sounding letters. So remember that when you read it. Sad with a vertical kasra. Sui.
Sui.
Perfect. Now the next letter is Dod, and it has a vertical kasra underneath it. So we say Dhi.
Zi.
Well done. Excellent. Just remember that thick sounding letter and the thick sound that you have to make. Okay. Next letter. This is the letter Pa, and it has a vertical kasra underneath it. So Tui.
Zi.
Well done. Next letter, Zaw, but it has a vertical kasra underneath it. So again, 2-second rule applies here. Z.
Zi.
Well done. Excellent. Now the next letter is an Ain, and it has a vertical kasra underneath it. So I.
I.
Excellent. Really nice to see you trying to make that sound of the Ain. Okay, excellent. Next letter is a Ghain, and it has a vertical kasra. Again, 2-second rule applies over here. You say Ghi.
Zi.
Excellent. One more time on your own.
Zi.
Well done. Excellent. Just remember, 2 seconds or 2 counts is enough. Okay. Jazakumullah for your help. Can we have another student on the line, please?
Yes, A5344.
Assalamu alaikum. 85344.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum Assalam. Okay, so we're carrying on. This is the letter Fa, and it has a vertical kasra underneath it. So we stretch it for 2 seconds. We say Fi.
Fi.
Excellent. Next letter is a Qaf, and it has a vertical kasra underneath it. So we say Qi.
Ki.
Well done. Excellent. Okay. Just remember 2 seconds is enough, so don't stretch it for too long. Just 2 seconds or 2 counts. Okay. Next letter is a kaf, and it has a vertical kasra again. We say ki.
Ki.
Well done. That was perfect timing. Okay. Now the next letter is a lam. Again, what does it have underneath it?
A vertical kasra.
Yes, exactly. And how long do we pronounce it for?
2 seconds.
Yes. So we say li.
Li.
Perfect. Next is a meme with a vertical kasra. Me.
Mi.
Excellent. Then a noon with a vertical kasra. Ni.
Ni.
Excellent. Well done. Really, really nicely read. Okay. Jazakumullah. Can we have one more student, please?
Yes. N6314.
Assalamu alaikum. Walaikum assalam. Okay. So we will carry on now. This is a wow with a vertical kasra. So we say we.
Vi.
Well done. Excellent. Next letter is a ha, and it has a vertical.
He.
Yes.
He.
Just wait for me to say it, and then you can repeat. Okay? He.
He.
Well done. Excellent. This is a hamza, and it has a vertical kasra. So we say e.
E.
Excellent. Next letter ya with a vertical kasra. Ji.
E.
Well done. Excellent. Ta with a vertical kasra. Ti.
E.
Well done. This is the letter ta, but now it has a kasra underneath it. So we say ti.
He.
Excellent. Well done. So the kasra is ti, and the vertical kasra is ti. Okay?
He.
Wonderful. Really nicely read. Okay, Jazakumullah. So mashallah, everybody read that really, really nicely. Just remember that 2-second rule and you'll do it perfectly, inshallah. Okay? So we will now move on to exercise 9.2, in which we are looking at separate letters and then joining them together in this column over here. Okay? So in this exercise, you are now combining all the rules that you have learned so far. Okay? So we're combining the rules of fatha, kasra, dhamma, and also vertical fatha and now vertical kasra as well. Okay, so this is a great exercise to practice what you have learned already, all the rules that you have been taught already. So we will now carry on with this exercise. Can you please have a student on the line?
Yes, A5348.
Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay, so what I will do is I will go through each column and I want you to repeat after me and then we will have a go at saying this all together. Okay, so please repeat after me. Sa.
Ta.
Yes, excellent. And then this is a meme with a fatha, so ma.
Ma.
Well done. This is a ra with a kasra, ri.
Ri.
Well done. And now you have a ha with a vertical kasra underneath it. So we stretch this for 2 seconds. We say he.
He.
Excellent. So this letter, and this letter are all to be pronounced for 1 second each because they have a simple fatha or a simple kasra underneath it. Whereas ha, this vertical kasra means that you pronounce this one for 2 seconds because of the vertical kasra, as I said. Okay, so let's try and join these all these letters together to form this word. We say samarihi.
Sabarahi.
Okay, this ra has a kasra underneath it. Okay, so it's a ri, not a ra. Okay, so let's try one more time. Samarihi.
Samarahi.
Okay, just try one more time. Look at this letter. This is the letter ra. Okay, and what does it have underneath it?
Kasra.
Yes. So how would you just pronounce this letter? Tell me how you would pronounce this bit.
Ri.
Just 1 second rule, okay? Because of the kasra, you don't stretch it, you only say it for 1 second. Ri.
Ri.
Yes. Sama.
Pardon?
Repeat after me. Sama.
Sama.
Rihi.
Rihi.
Samarihi.
Samarahi.
Okay. Over here, you're making the same mistake. Over here, just remember that this is a kasra. So just be careful over here. Okay, I understand because now we're joining letters together to form a word. It can be difficult, but just have a look at what stroke the letter has and say it like that. Okay. Sama,
Saba.
ri,
Ri.
he.
Hi.
Well done. Okay, excellent. Just practice this again and again, and remember not to get confused on this section over here, okay, where it says re. Okay, let's move on to the next example. Over here you have o,
U.
mu,
Mu.
yes, mim with a dhamma, mu.
Mu.
Well done. And then over here again you have a ra with a kasra, ri.
Ri.
Yes. And then again you have a ha with a vertical kasra. You say he.
Hi.
Yes, so 2 second rule applies over here because of the vertical kasra. Okay, so let's try and join that together. Omu,
Umu.
rihi,
Rihi.
omurihi.
Umurihi.
Yes, really good, mashallah. You tried that really, really well. Okay, so one more time. Omurihi.
Umurihi.
Perfect, excellent. That was really, really nicely read. Okay, Jazakumullah for your help. Can we have another student on the line, please?
Yes, N6339.
N6339, Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, so please repeat after me. This is B.
I can't see a mouse.
Okay, can you see my hand over here?
Yes.
Yes. So we're on the second row now. So over here, this is a B.
B.
Yes. And over here you have a vowel with a fatha. So wa.
Ba.
You have a lam with a fatha. La.
La.
Excellent. Then you have a dal with a kasra, D.
D.
And then you have a ha with a vertical kasra, so 2-second rule applies here. He.
He.
2 seconds, remember, okay? So just stretch it a bit longer. He.
He.
Okay, just a bit longer than that, so that you can really tell that there's a distinction, there's a difference between the kasra and the vertical kasra, okay? One more time. He.
E.
Okay, much better, okay? Well done. So let's try and say this all together. Let's try in 2 sections first, okay? Biwa,
Biwa.
ladi,
Ladi.
he,
He.
biwaladihi.
Biwaladihi.
Excellent. That was really good, mashallah. Okay, so that was a bit more difficult because that was 5 letters joined together to form the word, but you read that really nicely. Okay, next this is a ra with a dhamma, ru.
Ru.
Su,
Tu.
li,
Li.
he.
He.
Well done. So these 3 letters, they are all to be pronounced for 1 second each because they have a dhamma or a kasra underneath it like this lam does. Whereas the ha has a vertical kasra, so it should be pronounced for 2 seconds. Okay, let's try this now. Rusulihi.
Rusulihi.
Perfect, excellent. One more time. Rusulihi.
Rusulihi.
Well done, excellent. Really nicely read. Okay, mashallah. Jazakumullah for your help. And you have one more student on the line.
Yes, 85355.
A5355. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Okay, please follow after me. This is a ba with a kasra underneath it. So this would be read as B.
B.
Yes, just come a bit closer to your mic so I can hear you a bit better. B.
B.
Yes. This is a ya.
Ya.
D.
D.
He.
E.
Okay, excellent. So these first 3 letters, they are to be pronounced for 1 second each because they have either a kasra or a fatha on it, like you can see over here. Whereas the ha has a vertical kasra, so 2-second rule applies here. Let's try that together. Biya,
Biya.
dihi,
Bihi.
biyadihi.
Biyadihi.
Excellent, well done. Just remember that these letters in black should only be pronounced for 1 second each, and then the letter in red is to be pronounced for 2 seconds. Okay? Biyadihi.
Biyadihi.
Perfect. Next, please follow after me. Ku,
Ku.
tu,
Tu.
bi,
Bi.
he.
Hi.
Excellent. All together now. Kutubihi.
Kutubihi.
Perfect. Excellent. Okay. So the first 3 letters we only pronounce for 1 second, and then the last letter, because it has a vertical kasra, we pronounced for 2 seconds. Okay. Excellent. Really nicely read, mashallah. Okay. Can we have another student on the line?
Yes, N6334. Sorry. N6358.
Assalamu alaikum. N6358.
Assalamualaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. Is that N6358?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Are you understanding the lesson so far?
Yes.
Perfect. Okay. So now we will again go through a couple of examples from the bottom row. Please repeat after me. This is an alif with a vertical fatha, like you learnt yesterday. The
Yes.
2-second rule applies here. We say, repeat after me. Well done. Now this is a ya, and it has a vertical fatha. Again, 2-second rule applies here. You say ya.
Ya.
Well done. This is a T,
Ti.
and then over here you have a Ha with a vertical kasra. He.
He.
All together now. Ayatihi.
Ayatihi.
Perfect. Excellent. Really nicely read. Okay. Let's carry on. This is a B.
B.
This is a Ya.
Ya.
D.
Di.
And then you have a Ha with a vertical kasra. He.
He.
All together now. Biyadihi.
Biyadihi.
Well done. Just make sure that the black letters you are only pronouncing for 1 second each, okay? And 1 second each and the same time as each other as well, okay?
Okay.
Biyadihi.
Biyadihi.
Well done. Just be careful because with longer words, it's easy to stretch one letter more than the other, and we need to be really careful with that. Okay, let's carry on. This is an Ain with a fatha, A.
A.
This is a Neem with a fatha, Ma.
Ma.
Simple, Ma.
Ma.
Yes. This is a Lam with a kasra, Li.
Li.
And then this is a Ha with a vertical kasra, He.
He.
Excellent. Now all together, Amalihi.
Amalihi.
Excellent. One more time on your own.
Amalihi.
Sorry, can you repeat that? I think there was some disturbance in the line. Please redo this again.
Amalihi.
Perfect. Excellent. Really nicely read. Okay. And then the last one over here for you is B.
Bi.
He.
He.
Bihi.
Bihi.
Excellent. Really nicely read. Jazakumullah for your help. Let's have one more student, please.
A5337.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam. Okay, so we will carry on and do the last 4 examples with you. Over here, you have an alif with a vertical kasra underneath it. So you pronounce this for 2 seconds. You would say E.
E.
Well done. Then you have a lam with a vertical fatha. La.
La.
And then you have fi.
Fi.
Yes. Ilafi.
Ilafi.
Perfect. Excellent. Really nicely read. Okay. Let's carry on. This is the letter Ha and it has a vertical fatha on it. So we say Ha.
Ha.
Then you have a Zal with a kasra underneath it. You say Zi.
Di.
And then He.
He.
Excellent. All together now. Hadihi.
Hadihi.
Perfect. Excellent. Really nicely read. Okay. Let's carry on. Again, you have an alif with a vertical fatha. Lam with a kasra. Li.
Li.
And then ha with a vertical kasra. He.
He.
All together now. Alihi.
Alihi.
Excellent. Really nicely read. Okay. Now let's do the last example now. You have a qaf with a kasra. Qi.
Qi.
Yes. Then you have a ba with a fatha. Ba.
Ba.
Lam with a kasra. Li.
Li.
And then ha with a vertical kasra. He.
He.
Excellent. 2 second rules for this one. Okay. So all together now. Qibalihi.
Qibalihi.
Excellent. Well done. Really nicely read. Okay. Jazakumullah for your help. So mashallah, everybody that read really nicely in exercise 9.2 as well. Like I said in the beginning, the rule with lesson number 9 and also with lesson number 8 that you did yesterday is to remember that any letter that has the vertical kasra or a vertical fatha should be stretched for approximately 2 seconds or 2 counts. So if you remember that, then inshallah you'll be able to read really, really nicely and really fluently. Okay? So that was exercise 9.1 and 9.2 that we covered today. Your homework is again to practice lesson number 9, and in particular practice exercise 9.2. So 9.2 is the exercise that we just completed, and like I said, pay close attention to timing. What I mean by timing is that whether a letter should be pronounced for 1 second or for 2 seconds, depending on the stroke that it has on it. Okay? And also pay close attention to the thick, heavy letters. Okay? So as you remember in the first class that we did, we learned that some letters are heavy, thick and heavy sounding letters, and some are thin sounding letters. So you need to, if you want, you can recap that lesson and then remember to pronounce those letters correctly. Okay? And the reference page on your books is page number 55. Okay? So that's just the exercise that we just completed. Exercise 9.2 is your homework. Okay? So we will now end class with our prayer from the for finishing the Holy Quran. So can I please have the student on the mic?
Yes, N6333.
Sorry, go.
Walaikum Salam. Okay, did you note down your homework?
Yeah.
Yes, did you note it down? Do you have a diary to note it down in?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so now we will finish the class with the prayer. So can you please repeat after me? أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم.
اللهم ارحمني
اللهم ارحمني
بالقرآن
بالقرآن
العظيم.
العظيم.
Well done. And let's carry on. واجعله لي
واجعله لي
إماما
إماما
ونورا
ونورا
وهدى
وهدى
ورحمة.
ورحمة.
Excellent. Can you read the translation for me now?
Oh Allah, have mercy on me through the great Quran
Yes, and
make it for me.
carry on.
And make it for me the leader and the light, the guidance and the mercy.
Excellent. Well done. Really nicely read. Okay. So Jazakumullah to everybody, all the students and the parents for joining us in today's class. Please make sure that you do your homework and revise. And inshallah see you all again same time tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.